Hello and welcome. My name is Priscilla Johnson and I'm the Life Enrichment Coordinator for the Meadows. And spring is in full bloom here at Glacier Hills. I'm looking out of the windows. I see several different kinds of trees just bursting with life. The grass is green and everything is just coming to life here on campus. We are also opening up in many other ways that we'll be telling you about later. But right now I'm so pleased to welcome JasonPage, who is the Director of Sales here at Glacier Hills. And Jason has had quite a journey here on our campus, and he's here to tell us a little bit about that journey and some wonderful new projects that are coming up in the future. So welcome, Jason. Thank you so much for joining us today.
And thank you for having me.
Absolutely, absolutely. So you were telling me a little bit about where your journey started when you first started working here. Maybe you can share with our residents who haven't been here as long a little bit about when that started.
My journey here at Glacier Hills started in 2010, and I started as a diet aide in dining in our rehab center.
Oh wow, okay, so that's pretty far flung from what you're doing now. So how did you get from A to B?
It is. You know, in terms of my experience, I started as a diet aide working in our rehab center, and at that time it was in what currently is the pavilion.
Okay.
On the second floor, and really making that connection with the patients. I didn't get enough of it. And I worked in dining for about a year and a half, and then a customer service role presented itself. I applied for that position, in which the customer service role really allowed me to build more relationships with our patients in rehab, follow their experience in rehab and the gains that they're making in terms of physical therapy, occupational therapy, and if they're receiving speech therapy services, and just following the progress, as well as following up regarding satisfaction surveys and how we could grow in our rehab and provide excellent customer service, which we're known for.
Well, I can certainly see how that would tie into a piece of what you do now, because I have heard you greeting prospective residents and so forth, and you certainly have that top-notch customer service aspect to the way you interact with them, so I can see how that would have led you to where you are now. So what came after that?
After that, I transitioned to our admissions representative for the rehab center, in which working with individuals upon admissions, signing the consent to treatment, and really having them get a good understanding of how our subacute rehab facility works, as well as, in addition, I would give tours and market our rehab center. And I really enjoyed working with the individuals and really being their first point of contact when they entered our community, and being that face that they may have recognized from the tour when maybe they toured our rehab center a week or two prior to elective surgery. And just building that relationship. My time here really has been centered around working with our residents, residents or patients, and I really enjoy that connection.
Absolutely. So during that time, would you also have conversations with family members and all of that as well?
I would. That's a great question.
Yeah.
Quite often I'd also tour family members who are maybe in town and their loved ones flying in for elective surgery, or meeting with their family members because maybe their loved one was hospitalized, and discussing with them about all the services that we provide in our rehab center, and really building that relationship and rapport with whether it's the individual patient or with their loved ones.
Wow. Okay. Okay. And then so what was the next step after that?
The next step after that, there was a sales and marketing position that had opened up for Eva's House, in which we expanded our memory care program in 2014 and created Eva's House, which had two different segments: Birch, our assisted living memory care, and at the time Hazel, our long-term memory care. And I was onboarded to the sales and marketing team to drive the sales of our memory care program.
Oh, I see. Okay. Okay, so and then that kind of bloomed into all across campus opportunity for you, or?
That's correct. So in which After I pre-sold and sold all of our memory care program and really built a long waiting list for our memory care program, I started dabbling and getting involved in the housing side, selling not only the manor as well as the meadows, villa homes, and apartment homes. And what I really love about our waitlist members, our Nexus Club members, is that you really build a long-term relationship. The connection can be over a span of years prior to moving in. Having them come dine once a month for lunch or dinner. Many of our Nexus Club members come to our events. So you really build that long-term relationship, which is really what I enjoy. And my favorite part about the job is really working with our residents or future residents.
And I know some of those Nexus prospective residents will come to my evening programs, and some of them I know from being symphony attendees or other places in the community that I know them, and then suddenly, wow, they're here at Glacier, and then wow, they're moving in. Awesome. So it is nice to build that long-term relationship
and have them really get a feel for our community, get to know their future neighbors. And get a feel and sense for the community. That's really what I love about building the relationship over time.
Yeah, that's really wonderful. So now, most recently, you've been promoted to Director of Sales, and that's super exciting for you. Congratulations.
Well, thank you, and I'm really excited. We just onboarded a new sales counselor, which some of you may have already met. Her name's Angie. And Angie comes from one of our sister properties in Woodland Village, and I'm excited to build our team and continue to promote. As many of you may know, we have the pre-sale for the pavilion, which is a really nice, exciting project for our campus. We are growing and expanding our independent living program.
Right, right. And so you now have this nice, strong force of 3 people in your department, and now you've got this super exciting project with the pavilion. Tell us a little bit about that project.
So, as many of you may know, the pavilion currently consists of our memory care program, as well as we have human resources, our outpatient rehab gym, and the Child Development Center, and we're looking at completely renovating the pavilion to create 30 really well-designed, well-thought-out apartments for our independent living program. And there's 12 different floor plans ranging from 807 square feet all the way up to 1,640 square feet in size.
Wow. That's amazing.
It is, and I'm really excited about some of the amenities and common area spaces for our residents, and it will not only be common area spaces for the pavilion residents, but for our whole community to really enjoy. We're going to have more dining options. We'll have a state-of-the-art bistro.
Oh, wow.
Which will really allow our
great.
independent residents to dine at whichever dining room they wish to dine at, whether it's the bistro in the pavilion, the dining room in the manor, or the Meadows dining room. In addition, we're going to have a designated art studio where our residents can work with different mixed mediums, and I'm really excited about that as well.
Well, we're going to have to chat about that, and pianos in various spaces, and I know this is going to open up a lot of opportunities for the residents across campus, but for certain staff people too. So to get in there with their creativity, and it's a very exciting prospect, I have to say.
It really is. In addition, we're going to have a wellness studio, so a fitness studio where we're going to teach. It'll be primarily our educational exercise classes, yoga, tai chi, dance classes, Pilates, different things like that. And then we will still have the wellness connection where Gail's located, which will be more of your aerobic machine equipment type of gym facility. But I'm really excited to expand our wellness space and have a designated studio for those classes, as well as we're going to have a designated space for puzzles. As many of you may already know, we have puzzles throughout our campus, but there's not really a designated space.
Puzzle room.
A puzzle room.
Yeah.
Which will be really
We
nice.
could have 2 or 3 going at once or whatever. That's great. That's wonderful. So what's the overall timeline look like for this whole project?
In terms of the project, we're projected to start and break ground tentatively this fall of 2021 with a completion date of spring of 2023. The pavilion will be comprised of 30 apartments, and we break it down to the North Pavilion, which the North Pavilion we'll have the wellness fitness studio on the first floor, as well as the art studio. And then the second and third floor will have 5 apartments on the second floor and 5 on the third floor of the North Pavilion. And what I love about the North Pavilion is it has really intimate common area space for those 5 residents on each floor, which I think will be a really nice feature.
Right, so they can just gather as a unit themselves, a little smaller, or they can travel and be with bigger crowds. Yeah, so it gives them lots of options.
A lot of flexibility, which is what I really like. And then if you look at the South Pavilion, it'll be comprised of 20 apartments total, 10 on the first floor, and some of them will have beautiful views of the wellness garden. Some of the views will be overlooking the meadows. And we'll have 10 apartments on the first floor and 10 apartments on the second floor.
Wow. And so I'm just wondering about the design concepts for these apartments. How much input did you have? Was it more of a Trinity people, designing it, or was it more personal, or how did the design concepts come about?
That's a great question. In regards, we did have focus groups with our Nexus Club members, as well as, in addition, we had meetings with the architect firm, which is Luminat, and we discussed what our current residents' wishes are, as well as our future residents. And as many of you may know, we have quite a long waiting list for the meadows, and where the longer waiting lists lie are really our larger floor plans. If you're looking at the spruce wood over in the meadows, or the evergreen, which the spruce wood's a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom apartment that's 1,320 square feet, or the evergreen, which is a 2-bedroom, 2-bathroom with a study, it's 1,546 square feet. We have roughly a 3 to 4 year waiting list for those floor plans.
Yeah.
And I really put an emphasis on larger apartment configurations.
Oh, I see, because of those statistics. Yeah. Right. And do you think some of the Nexus people who are interested in the larger apartments in the meadows might conceivably be interested now in the ones in the pavilion?
That's a good question. In regards to our Nexus Club members, some of them have signed on for the pre-sale of the pavilion. Part of the pre-sale is that you can select the specific apartment, floor plan, and view that you wish, with the idea that you'll be moving in as a resident in spring of 2023. And what I love about the pre-sale is it really allows our future residents to set that goal for themselves. I kind of view it in a way as a waiting list, because you can start the downsizing process, getting your home ready to go on the market, and really make that transition. And it really gives our future residents that time to make all those decisions.
Right, and they have the actual end date or end time of, okay, spring of 2023, this is when it's going to happen, so they can do long-range planning.
That's correct.
That way, very nice.
As well as we will be having what we call Peak Pavilion Club events, which it allows our future residents to meet their neighbors. And we're going to have quarterly events where our Peak Pavilion members will be invited, as well as we're hopefully sooner than later be able to host in-person activities on campus, in which our Peak Pavilion Club members will get familiar and get to know some of our current residents, in which some of them are friends with our current residents.
Yeah.
But we do have a couple new Peak Pavilion Club members that are not as familiar with our campus, and I think it'll be nice for them to really meet their future neighbors.
Oh, well, it sounds all just wonderful, wonderful, and I just can't wait to see how it evolves over the next 18 months. You must be very excited to see the whole thing.
I am, and in regards to the design, they're really well thought out. A lot of the apartments have large walk-in closets, double vanities, ample amount of space if you ever down the road do need a walker or wheelchair. I emphasize roll-in showers. I don't have details on that, but I'm hopeful that we'll have roll-in showers and apartment floor plans that are more accessible for our residents.
Yeah. That makes so much sense. Oh, well, that all sounds just great. And now I just want to pivot a little bit over to something completely off that topic and just talk a little bit about what a great traveler you are. Because I know on your off time, whenever you're off, you're always wherever. Costa Rica or wherever, Europe or wherever. So where have your last adventures been?
My last adventure internationally was in Australia, in which I took a month off. I built up my PTO and went to Sydney, Australia, as well as Cairns, and in addition from Australia, I flew over to New Zealand and spent a couple weeks in New Zealand as well.
Oh, that sounds wonderful. And so it's the opposite season, right?
That's correct.
Yes. So when did you go here? I mean, what was the season there?
You know, I booked it for February because February, it's the end of their summertime. However, you still have those warm temperatures where it's in the 80s. I had the opportunity to snorkel around the Great Barrier Reef and tour. We did a hike throughout the Daintree rainforest. I really love traveling because you really grow and learn from traveling in different cultures, and you learn about the history. And I'm a foodie, so I always love to dabble in what the local cuisine is and get a feel for each country.
Yeah, and then you can bring all those experiences back home and then, you know, weed out what you like, what you didn't like, and then incorporate that into your own little world. So it's very, very cool. Very cool. Well, Jason, it has just been wonderful to chat with you, and we're excited about the plans of the pavilion and the whole campus moving forward. So I just want to thank you so much for joining us, and thank you, residents, for listening to our interview with JasonPage today.
And thank you for having me.
Absolutely.